Welcome to Company Growth Partner. My name is Jayson.
And my name is Matt.
And we are digital marketers. I am calling in from Los Angeles, California. Matt, where in the world are you?
Bangkok, Thailand.
We want to discuss what coaching businesses need to succeed. What is it that you need to have dialed in as a coach to take your business to the seven-figure mark? Matt and I are just going to discuss some of the methods and strategies that we know have worked for coaching clients in particular that we've worked with in the past. Yeah, Matt?
Oh, absolutely. We could talk probably for like 4 hours about what needs to be done, but we don't have 4 hours, so we'll try to make it concise as possible. I mean, honestly, and Jayson, you can correct me if I'm wrong, like a lot of times what we see is when you're running your coaching business, you might not really know where your money is coming from or like what actually makes the money, how many clients you close specifically, how much you're paying for advertising. Oh boy. We've seen that a lot, right, Jayson? Where
a lot of clients don't even know what they're paying for advertising. They just know that they've got ads out there.
yeah, and I mean that's super important, right? Because like guys, like this is super important. When you're looking at your coaching business, right? You see it in like you're looking at your from your own perspective, but there's a lot going on under the hood, right? And advertising a lot of times, right? That's your fuel. So if you run out of gas and there's nothing left in the tank, you're going to be in a tough spot. And we've seen that happening quite a bit. And that's actually a financial problem. But it actually goes back to not having the systems in place in order to ensure you actually know, hey, by the way, if I spend my advertising budget on something that actually I don't even need for the business, you won't be able to make the same amount the next month. Right. So, and and again, like if anyone's going to comment saying, like, I don't need to do advertising. Yes, you do. You have to do some level of advertising, whether, organic or something. But if you want to grow the business, you're going to have to start it with, like you have to build up an audience. And sometimes building an audience takes like 6 months.
Oh,
so
100%.
Going back to tracking, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, even if you're like super successful, like you have to understand what your business is and what are the elements, and you're not going to be able to do that without having some reporting in place.
100%. This is one of the first things that I would say we would advise any of our clients on initially is what data are you actually tracking? What data are you reporting? What data do you have concerning the numbers and how it is that your business is functioning on a day-to-day basis? And it is alarming that 9 times out of 10, our clients don't actually have those numbers. They're not doing that tracking, right, Matt?
I mean, guys, like, I don't know, and you can laugh if you do this, but, if you're kind of running your coaching business on your phone, the day-to-day is not happening on your laptop, that's when okay, I need help. You cannot run your coaching business from your phone. Yeah, sure, you can respond to messages, but if you're only looking at your stuff on your phone, guess what? Those pretty apps you have, they're not going to give you the nitty-gritty technical number-related stuff that I actually need to see in order to make better decisions, right? So you need to have some. I haven't seen a successful coaching business with having at least a fractional operator in place in order to ensure is finance healthy. Do we actually report on the most important things? Are we making more money than we spend? Basic stuff, right?
Right.
And if you don't have that in place, you're going to be in trouble. And we know that, right, Jayson? Like sometimes there are coaches out there who are first-time business owners, and they have to learn all these new things while they're doing the coaching. And then a lot of times, coaching takes time. If you run group calls, one-to-one, it takes time, man. So.
And you know what else takes time? Building a successful business, especially one that runs on digital advertising, because right now there is so much competition in that specific way. There are so many voices out there trying to gather the attention of your potential clients that if you're not, to your point earlier, if you're not doing some organic or paid outreach to gather those new clients, then you probably are doing something wrong. Because you're missing opportunities to gain new people, which is huge. You're a coach, and this is actually what we say Company Growth Partner is here for. Because oftentimes with coaches, they're brilliant at what they do. They're great coaches. That doesn't mean they're brilliant marketers. That doesn't mean that they want to spend time in the nitty gritty of like what you do, which is watching the numbers of their ads and the click-through rate and managing how that reflects in the ad spend and how that makes sense for their budget. They're not doing any of that, and nor should they. They should be coaching, right?
Exactly. For example, just to give you guys an idea, I spent last quarter on looking at X because every media buyer is saying that Q1 sucked on the platform and we're looking for ways to improve results. You don't have time for understanding what CPM is and how, certain companies are currently flooding the market and they're increasing the CPM because you don't even know what CPM is. And why should you know? Because technically it's a much better idea to hire someone who knows what that is and can actually tell you how to run your operations, and all you have to do then is decide what you want to do with your business.
Yeah.
What do you want?
You say this all the time. So often these successful coaches, really any successful business is built on the backs of really successful operators, people who are willing to get into the nitty gritty of the business, take a look at the numbers and analyze that information and then create actionable plans around it, which is exactly what you specialize in. And that's what CGP, Company Growth Partner, does for our coaching clients. So if you're looking to start tracking some of this data, if you're hoping to start automating some of this reporting, you should send us a message and we'll discuss your business.
Absolutely. Send us a message and we'd be more than happy to have a chat with you and see if we can help.
Another thing that we wanted to discuss about dialing things in to build a successful coaching business was the importance of creating quality content, right? It's kind of a buzzword right now, content. But in terms of your point, it is massively important to be doing some outreach, whether it's organic or paid. And it is massively important that the content you create and put out there is of some standard of quality. You have to consider that now the majority of audiences have been raised on screens. So they've got an eye that has the ability to pick up on details that maybe could suggest to them that you've got a lower quality product than the other people out there using the fancy cameras with the fancy software to edit the cute videos together.
Yeah, and here's the thing. YouTube, like there was an interview out there with, I believe, with the CEO of YouTube, and they admitted that they actually have a dedicated team helping small creators. So if you want to get started, like you've been doing some Instagram reels and shorts and you're super serious about content, now it's easier than ever to get something started, right? As long as you have someone in place to kind of tell you like for example, why a video sucked, right? Because releasing YouTube videos is not very different from running ads, right? You have impressions, you have click-through rate, just like with ads, right? Maybe the numbers are a little different, right? But the idea is the same. YouTube is featuring smaller creators. So if you're doing coaching and then you want to spin up your organic content and want to be successful, if your content is good quality, and people are interested in it, and you can get people to click on your videos, like that's free eyeballs for you. You don't have to pay for that.
Oh, yeah.
And you can build it up easy if your content is different. And honestly, guys, like I love watching smaller creators. Do you know why? Because the content has to be unique and authentic, because otherwise I'm not going to watch. I'll just go to Alex Ramosi and watch his stuff because I don't have to filter the information or anything because I trust his content, right? But with a smaller creator, you have to earn people's trust, right? And that's 100%. Why I like smaller creators.
I think it's worth noting that one of the first pieces of advice we will give our coaching clients when it comes to creating their own content is that it's important that they stay true to the reality of their situation.
Oh, yeah.
We're all in the matrix and we're consuming the videos of others that can look miles flashier than what we think we're putting out there. I think some of our clients have felt the pressure to try to amp up certain aspects of their content in ways that
overcompensate.
Absolutely overcompensate and make content that is actually a little dishonest and a little disingenuous from what the truth of their situation is. And you might think, well, you just cut the video together, Jayson, and nobody's going to know the difference. Well, that's only partially true. Again, audiences are nuanced now, and they can pick up on subtle differences.
People know.
They know, and you're a coach. You want them to trust you.
And then again, like, and guys, like, this is super important. Like, there's a lot of voices out there, right? So if your content is surface level, right, and it's not, like, if it's not genuine, or you're not speaking the truth, people will find out. Easy. If you want to truly grow an audience in 2024 and beyond, you have to be genuine and produce quality material. And when I mean quality material, what comes out of your mouth, that has to be quality. And, you know, some people get in trouble when it comes to stuff like this. You got to make sure that, like, the production quality of what you're trying to do is high enough so that your potential prospects actually are willing to consume the content, because the content quality reflects how much you care about getting things done the right way.
100%. And it's a reflection of how much you care about your business, right? If the image that the potential client sees is of the absolute highest quality in terms of what it is that you can manage, they're going to understand that so is your coaching. And which is exactly the point. And another way to achieve that, this is something we just have in the notes here that I think is worth pointing out. A way to achieve that for some of these coaches who are building their businesses and they're new at this is to create a production schedule. It sounds like a small thing, but again, audiences crave consistency. And if you're going to start outreach, either organic or paid, a level of regularity is really important, whether that's consistency in the quality of the video, where the video is shot, how you're shooting it, how you're cutting it together, but also consistency of when you're releasing these things. How you're reaching out to your potential clients is very important. They crave consistency.
I always recommend, and I mean, it really depends on who we're talking to, right, Jayson? You should focus on the platforms when you're starting out. And when I mean starting out, like maybe like you're already at like 5 to 6 figures, you should focus on the platform which is actually in line with your personality. And obviously like what you're selling as well. Because let's say if you're an executive coach, obviously LinkedIn is going to be your bread and butter, right? But let's say you have a more laid back personality, and perhaps an Instagram and Facebook are going to be better choices for you. But then if you're talker like me, maybe long form is going to be the best choice, and you should double down on YouTube. So again, depending on what you're like as a person, I would actually focus on what platform specifically in the first place and scale that up, and then start trickling over to other platforms once you established an audience, let's say on YouTube or Instagram or LinkedIn. Because if you're going to have to start producing content for multiple platforms and customize the content for multiple platforms, it's going to be too much work in the beginning, and you don't have the revenue coming in to support a full-blown like production team and to make sure that like the quality is there. And that's when Jayson said people are really stretching too thin on the quality side and the reality side, it's because of that, because people are trying to overcompensate, and they're trying to copy, an Iman Gadzhi, an Alex Hormozi, a Gary Vee, like people who already have very established businesses, and they can spend the $10, $20, $30,000 per month only on organic content.
I think that's exactly what it is, right? It's very easy to get wrapped up in seeing how other people are doing things and then starting to tell yourself that I can do it just like them. The ways in which we will stretch how we do things to try to fit the mold of another creator or another person, it almost always doesn't work. Honesty is always the best policy, in my opinion.
And just to give you guys a real example, one of the fitness coach we used to work with, right? What happened was he was absolutely amazing on Instagram. He was trying to make YouTube work. He put a lot of energy and effort in making YouTube work, but in reality, he was not ready for YouTube yet. So he was treating his YouTube channel as unknowingly as almost like something for like retargeting, like doing the content for his existing audience.
Right.
Whereas in reality, what should have been done is reaching out to people that don't know you, cold audience. Like that's the idea. You want to use all your platforms for reaching out to new people, because otherwise, you're just going to be you're going to spin your wheels, and it's not going to pan out.
Which is then, I think, a useful segue into this idea that if you're trying to build a coaching business, or you're trying to take your coaching business to that 7-figure mark, it's pretty crucial. It's massively important that you set clear goals, that you clear your head of the noise of all these other coaches and creators, and you set goals that are yours, that pertain to you and your business and where you want it to go, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, come on. So more often than not, what we see, and this is a big problem for coaches, because they're looking at what other people are doing, and then, oh yeah, that coach is making $800,000 per month. I want to be there. Okay, cool. Do you know what it takes? Do you know what has to happen? Do you know how much money you have to spend on advertising in order to get there? Do you know that you have to increase your operational efficiency to such a level that you can actually sustain $800,000 per month coming in? Because you're going to need a bigger team. Right. And then, and if you're going to change your mind because, oh shit, this is hard, that's not going to be cool, because you're not going to be fair with your team. You are going to create all these problems. You don't really understand how stressful it is if you keep changing your fucking mind, right? When you're running your business, like that's not helpful. Actually, you're stressing your employees out a lot.
Oh yeah, and you're also just not helping your own goals.
No,
they're actually working against their own interest often when they keep changing their mind, because, and this is something we work with our clients on. It's the idea that by setting those goals from the outset and making a clear decision about what kind of business you want for yourself, your own individual business and situation, by setting your goals around that, we are able to then build the strategies, build the plan, build everything around that goal. And then we can focus on one thing at a time. If you keep changing your mind, you create a lot of confusion. There's a lot of miscommunication. And honestly, a lot of money ends up getting lost. That's what we've seen happen. People change their minds and a lot of money gets wasted. That's what we see, right?
Why? Very simple. So we always say at Company Growth Partner that coaching is really an art. Even if let's say you're using numbers and stuff, like you need to have some type of magical aura around you in order to attract your coaching clients, right? Now, if someone tells you to buy a CRM, for example, right? And they're going to say, we're going to build it out for you too, right? But you already have a CRM and your technical people are telling you, we don't need a new CRM, but you do it anyways. You have absolutely no idea what that CRM can do to your business. Your CRM is going to provide all the necessary information for your marketers and salespeople to make decisions in your business, or give you data on the decisions you have to make. So if you're going to pull the plug on something that actually worked, or you're going to tell your team because X and Y coach told me I need to buy this, and then I bought it, but actually don't need it, probably just lost like $300,000, brother. And that's going to hurt.
Easy.
Like, no joke, guys.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. Money gets wasted. You change your mind too frequently. You don't listen to the advice of your technical people, like the advice that we offer at Company Growth Partner. If you're interested in some of our advice, please send us a message. We'd love to talk about your business, see if we can help you. But seriously, the more that these clients change their minds and the more that they decide to jump ship and jump on to a different boat that's being run by a different coach who's got an entirely different idea of how these things need to be done, the more money they end up wasting. That's just what we've seen, and that's our advice. I think there's also a piece of advice in our notes that we should definitely cover that I think you are super clear on, that is useful for people, when you say that coaches really ought to stop selling more than one product until they're making $100K per month.
Yeah, exactly.
Stick to one product until $100,000 a month in revenue, and then we can discuss diversification.
Exactly. And let me explain why this is so important. Usually what I say is one channel, one avatar, one offer. you cannot scale that offer to $100,000. Something is not working. So you have an offer problem. So usually, more often than not, when we start working with a client, there's multiple offers. There's multiple products being sold under the 7-figure mark, and then we have to go in and tell the coach, listen, which one of your offers is the one that people like the most, seems to be the stickiest. Let's focus on that, ignore the rest. And then we can revisit the conversation once you actually hit the 7-figure mark, because at that point, maybe you could potentially introduce more offers. But until then, if there's like one takeaway from this video, one offer. And probably you need to review all the offers you have, and then, figure out like which offer is the best, and double down on that.
And if you need help taking a look at all of the offers that you've been working on, and you need help discussing which offer would be the most useful for your business, you should send us a message, Company Growth Partner. We would love to discuss your business and see if we can help.
Absolutely. Send us a message and let's see if we can take you to 7 figures.